Okay, so I'm going to walk you through how to set up and format a digital picture dictionary in Google Sheets. Okay, students have access to Google Sheets with their Chromebooks, and I think this is really cool. They don't get a lot of opportunities to play around with spreadsheets. Learning how to navigate a spreadsheet is an extremely practical skill this day and time. So I always encourage my students to name files when they create a new file. Okay. And then we're going to need to widen our columns a little bit. So we just want to kind of hover over the border between the columns and then click and drag. Okay. So we're going to need some wider columns. Now to format the entire sheet, you click to the left of the A and above the 1. So you select the entire sheet. We're going to center everything. This is purely cosmetic. I'm going to use a larger font, maybe a 14. And then you have these tools, and sometimes these are hid. You might have to click on the more, depending on how wide your window is. See how when I widen it, they show back up. So we want to make sure that we're doing a horizontal alignment center, but we also want to do a vertical align. So when I click on that, I want the one in the middle. Okay. And then finally, right to the right, or immediately to the right of the vertical align, you'll see the text wrapping. We want to make sure that we're clicking on the one that looks like a U-turn. All right, so that if I type a longer definition in one of the cells, the text will wrap and we will be able to see it. The row will widen automatically as we type. Okay, so again, I selected the entire sheet. We adjusted the font. You can also change your font to something that you like. I like Happy Monkey these days. Over here we can do, and then we're going to make sure we're at center. Vertical align, we want to be in the middle. And for text wrapping, we want to be on wrap. Okay. So now, okay, when I type in one cell and I get carried away, and then I hit enter, see, it'll all show up there. Okay. All right, now we want to just click on row 1 and we just want to format row 1. So this is going to be my header row. So I'm going to put everything in bold for this. And then in column A, we're going to have our word. In column B, we're going to have a unit. I think is helpful. And it doesn't have to be necessarily in this order. For definitions, we want to keep these kind of short, around 5 or 6 words is best. Not everything can be defined in 5 or 6 words, though, so we just want to do the best we can to not get too long-winded with our definitions. In column D, we're going to have an image. Okay, this is how we're going to start. And I'm also going to select row 1 by clicking on the 1, and I'm going to color the background with a pleasing color. And that's just because it's my header row. And then finally, I'm going to click on the view feature, and I'm going to freeze my first row. Now the reason, and you can tell that it's frozen when you have a thicker line between row 1 and row 2. So now if I end up with like 75 words in my dictionary, as I scroll down, my header will stay the same, that will help us stay organized. All right. So now we're going to put some words in from some different subjects. Okay. All right. So let's say we've got theme, and that's from ELA. I'm going to use subjects as my units. Okay. And maybe we have geography from social studies. All right. And maybe we have um, atmosphere from science. And then maybe we have simile from ELA. All right. And then maybe we have Ziggurat from social studies. I'm just throwing some words in here from some different subjects. Okay. All right. So in theme, we know is the message of a literary work. We could say, we could put more. We could say it's normally implied rather than stated, that it reveals something about the human condition, or it's very general, a takeaway, that kind of thing. We can talk about that stuff in class. Just for the meat of the definition, I would keep it short, the message. All right. Now we need to find an image that's going to help the student remember the theme is the message. So over in Google, I can search, I can just simply Google the word message and see what comes up and look at the images that I get. Any of these would probably work. Um, this is something that kids could really relate to. But there's other types of messages, like a message in a bottle. This might be a cool image for a student to remember that theme is the message. I like this. So when you find an image that you want to use in your dictionary, it's very important that you click on View Image right here. We had some problems getting the links out of here. Now this, I don't know if this is going to work for me or not. We'll see. Then we want to right click on the image, and we want to copy the image address. Okay. Copy the image address. And when we come back over to our digital picture dictionary, I'm going to make this bigger so everybody can see what I'm doing. Alright, I'll shrink it again in just a minute. Alright, now if we insert the image here by going to insert image, the image will be laying across the cells. It won't be inside the cell for real. It'll just be laying across the top of the spreadsheet. The only way to get the image in the cell is to use a formula, which starts with an equal sign and then the word image. And then we have to use a parenthesis and a quote. Now we have to paste the link that we just copied. So that's a Command V. And then we do in quote, in parentheses. And now when I hit enter, hopefully my image will populate in my cell. But it has not. Of course, I'm doing a video and it won't. Alright. So let's try another one. I thought that looked kind of weird when I went to view image. This is what I'm used to it looking like. Copy image address. Come back over here and try this formula again. I'm just going to take this link and replace it. And then give me an error. Equals image. There we go. Yeah, I promise it works. Alright, let's see. And then if I drag the row wider, the image will adjust. Okay. And what's cool about using a spreadsheet is that you have columns that keep going over here. So as the year progresses and you wanted to go back and have the kids to come up with a second image that's different from the first, and they could. You could do image 2 or whatever. Or maybe an application column where you're the story in ELA, what was the message, and an image of that would help them remember that or whatever. Okay, so in social studies, geography is the study of the surface of the Earth's surface. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was able to do that in 6 words. Of course, there's a lot more to geography than that, but that's all we're going to say. And to help me remember that, I might get a picture of a globe. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to find a picture of a globe, one that I like, because geography is all about maps and map skills. And I'm trying to find one that's a decent, okay, I'll see if I can use this one. So if I view image, all right, we're going to do a control click if you're on a Mac, right click, copy the image address. We're going to come back over here, equals image, parenthesis, quote, control V because paste begins with V. And then I have my picture in for geography. Okay. All right. So atmosphere for science. This is a gas layer that surrounds the Earth. Okay. I'll come back over here quickly and find an image that will work for atmosphere. I'm just going to pick whatever comes up here just to be for the sake of being quick. Copy the image address, come back over here, do my little formula. And the kids pick up on this formula pretty quick. It's not that intense for them. Assimilate comparison using like or as. And then ziggurat. This is a pyramid-like structure from Mesopotamia, or whatever, and so forth and so on. All right, so I'm not going to go on putting in images. I think you've kind of got the drift. Hopefully, caught the drift. All right, so with what I want, the last thing I want to show you real quick, which is cool about doing a dictionary in here, is the data filter. So I can put a filter on this spreadsheet. I can select the whole spreadsheet and come up here to data filter. So now I've got a filter on the spreadsheet. So as the year progresses, maybe I only want to see words from a certain unit. So I come up here to my little tool, my little filter tool, and by default everything is selected. I could clear everything. Let's say I only wanted to see the ELA words. Then the spreadsheet will just give me the words from that unit. And the image will be there, will travel with it because we put it in the cell the correct way. And then to get everything back, I would just go back to the little tool for that column and click select all. All right. So another cool thing about doing it in a spreadsheet is we can sort it alphabetically. So I could come up here to data, sort sheet. Is we always want to sort the sheet so that everything goes with it. Sort the sheet by column A through Z, and then put my words in alphabetical order. And if you'll notice, the images went with it because we put it in the cell the correct way. So this is a pretty cool way to use a spreadsheet to teach vocabulary in a way that would be engaging. The possibilities are endless for what you could do in these columns. You could put a link to a music video that helps you remember something about it, that helps you remember the definition or the word or whatever. You could do multiple images, examples. There's just a lot that you could do with that. A personal connection. So I think this could be a really cool and useful tool. All right, that's all.